Welcome to the Sociology In podcast series of the International Sociological Association. Today we travel intellectually and emotionally to Ukraine, a country where sociology has always lived close to history, politics, and everyday life. The current Russian war against Ukraine hasn't frozen sociological research. If anything, it has made the discipline more adaptive, more alert, and more essential. Before we begin our journey, let me introduce myself. My name is Tetiana Kostiuchenko, Senior Lecturer of Sociology Department at Kyiv Mohyla Academy in Ukraine, and Marie Curie Research Fellow at Osteuropa Institute at Freie Universität Berlin. And I'm delighted to guide this conversation with two remarkable colleagues. Our first guest is Professor Olga Kutsenko, Vice President of the Sociological Association of Ukraine and Principal Research Fellow at the Institute of Sociology of the National Academy of Sciences. If Ukrainian sociology has a memory and a conscience, Olga has shaped both. And our guest is, the other guest is Dr. Tymofii Brik. He has PhD in sociology. He's a national coordinator of the European Social Survey in Ukraine and a rector of the Kyiv School of Economics. Appointed during the full-scale invasion in 2022 as the youngest university rector in the country, he now leads one of Ukraine's most dynamic and fast-growing universities. Together, Olga and Tymofii represent two generations with one shared mission, understanding Ukrainian society at a moment when everything seems to be under fire and in motion. Olga, to set the stage, how is sociology organized in Ukraine?
Thank you, Tetiana. Thank you, Tymofii. I believe that the Ukrainian sociological landscape rests on three interconnected pillars. First, there are university departments and sociological institutes across big cities of Ukraine, like Kyiv, Lviv, Kharkiv, Odessa, Dnipro, and many others. Here, students learn to apply theory, design surveys and samples, analyze structures and agency, and importantly, to think critically. The university's undergraduate, master's, and doctoral programs form the educational backbone of our discipline. Second pillar, within the National Academy of Science, we have the Institute of Sociology, the country's main engine for sociological knowledge, and I would say its intellectual driver, a roadmap maker, and memory. For over 30 years, the Institute has run the annual monitoring survey of Ukrainian society, founded by Natalia Panina and Yevgen Golovacha. It tracks societal changes from 1993 to the present. And third, there are numerous independent professional research organizations. Kyiv International Institute of Sociology, Rating Group, the Razumkov Center, Democratic Initiative Foundation, CEDAS, InfoSapiens, and others. They are accredited by the Sociological Association of Ukraine, and some of them are members of the World Association for Public Opinion Research, European Society for Opinion and Marketing Research, SMR, and the International Sociological Association. They are flexible, responsive, and methodologically innovative. During the war, they became a vital provider of real-time data, from face-to-face and telephone interviews (KT) to online panels and other adaptive methods, often working under extremely challenging conditions. And all of this is kept afloat thanks to the Sociological Association of Ukraine, founded in 1992. For 2 decades, SAU Association headquarters has been located at Karazin National University in Kharkiv. Its long-standing president, Professor Bakirov, along with vice president, Professor Sakuryanska, and other 2 vice presidents, managed to maintain the association unity, even under bombing and forced displacement.
Thank you, Olga, for this introduction. I also want to add a few words. I agree, Ukrainian sociology is vast and has many faces. I also would like to mention 2 critical figures, Yevgen Golovacha and Volodymyr Paniotto. They are the leading methodologists. They introduced international metrics and standards to Ukraine. They designed first samples and kicked off first regular large-scale surveys. And also they became public sociologists and moral authorities to the nation. Yevgen Golovacha shaped a theory of societal transformation, and he also created the monitoring survey. While Volodymyr Paniotto, he built Kiev International Institute of Sociology, which is one of the region's most trusted and respected polling institution.
Thank you, colleagues. And let's go back in time, maybe. So how did Ukrainian sociology evolve along its own historical paths?
Ukrainian sociology has a much longer history than its institutions, and 3 key episodes really stand out. First, in the 1880s, Mikhail Dragomanev delivered some of the earliest lecture at Kiev University on what we now call sociology. It was sociology before sociology, about community rights, self-government, social inequality, and social justice. His work linked empirical research to civic activism and national self-determination. Later, Mikhail Grushevsky and Mikita Shapoval, forced into exile under the Soviet Bolshevik repression, founded 2 groundbreaking institutions. The Ukrainian Sociological Institute in Vienna in 1919 and the Ukrainian Institute of Citizenship in Prague in 1924. They saw sociology as a tool, as a real tool of decolonization and social development. Early diasporic think tanks long before the term existed. The second episode comes during the Soviet decade. Stalinism nearly erased sociology, but from the 1960s, it slowly re-emerged as an applied science. By the late 1980s, Ukrainian sociologists were already conducting large-scale surveys and rebuilding a professional education and community despite censorship. And finally, with Ukraine's state independence in 1991, we saw a rapid institutionalization. New departments, polling agencies, the Institute of Sociology, the academic journals on sociology, the Sociological Association. And one of our most significant achievements, I believe, the 30-year Ukrainian Society Monitoring Survey, which documents the transformation of a post-Soviet society into a democratic one.
Yeah, I really like this angle of longue durée of Ukrainian sociology. I can add and reflect on my own experience. I studied in Ukraine, but also in the Netherlands and Spain, and I worked in the United States. So I have some experience, and I can compare Ukrainian perspective on education and public positioning of sociology. So I remember that sociology in Utrecht University was not the same as in Amsterdam University due to the differences in quantitative versus qualitative approach. So in contrast, in Ukraine, we don't really have such divisions by school of thoughts, probably um, due to our recent history of development of sociology. Um, we also are much more integrated with Polish industry. Ukrainian students are more versed with sampling, questionnaires, design of surveys, etc. And finally, and I think it's a really important feature of Ukrainian sociology, that public sociology and civic sociology is very significant in Ukraine. It's huge, and it has its deep historical and political context. So, as long as in 1991, when the state independence referendum happened, when Ukrainian sociologists revealed overwhelming support for independence, this was a mirror the society needed. Another case in 2004, during the presidential elections, independent exit polls contradicted official electoral results. It became evidence of the falsification of the presidential elections results, which led to the Orange Revolution. So sociology helped to defend electoral truth. Even today, most of political actors in Ukraine would refer to sociology publicly. Ukrainian citizens are regularly polled on everything through digital applications. Sociological polls are sometimes even leaked to media and are in the center of public scandals and rumors. So I can say that sociology plays a crucial role in Ukrainian society. It's literally in the air.
Ayet, do you remember at the very beginning of Euromaidan, December 2013, when the board of the Sociological Association of Ukraine issued an open letter to President Yanukovych? In that letter, sociologists warned explicitly against the use of force, defended the right to peaceful protest, and urged the government to stay committed to the European course. That moment was crucial. It showed sociologists stepping into civic responsibility, participatory sociology in action, not just in theory.
Thank you, dear colleagues. And these examples show that Ukrainian sociology has always been entangled with democracy and civic life, a tradition reactivated in the wartime. So, in your opinion, how did the full-scale Russian invasion to Ukraine in 2022 transform the discipline?
I believe the invasion didn't just change sociology, it shattered boundaries. And I mean boundaries on several levels. The boundaries between our professional roles, between scientific work and civic action, and even between the researcher and the people we study. Sociologists became researchers, volunteers, analysts, soldiers, witnesses, evacuees, sometimes even targets of violence. In my recent article, Shattered Boundaries, I described this as a triple challenge. First, an institutional challenge. The boundaries between university space and war space collapsed. Some universities were destroyed, displaced, or turned into shelters and humanitarian hubs. Second, a methodological challenge. The boundaries between standards method and emergency improvisation disappeared. Classical fieldwork became impossible. No ethnography under occupation, no focus group in shelters. So new tools had to be invented literally overnight. And third, epistemological challenge. The boundary between researcher and field dissolved. We were no longer observers at a distance. We lived the same war as our respondents. This demands a new reflexive ethics, acknowledging positionality, vulnerability, and care. Do you
Oh,
agree with me?
how do you think overall, did sociologists slow down?
Oh no, quite the opposite. No one stopped. Actually, surveys resumed within days. And I remember my very first email on the day of the school of this full-scale invasion was that please back up the data for the latest European social survey files. Yeah, so we were thinking about data collection and how to save our work immediately. And I agree with Olga that generations of sociologists, they had to reinvent sociology in this context. Um, I want to remind that the war started in 2014, and from 2014 to 2022, we had a boost of reforms and changes in the Ukrainian society with a huge presence of international donors. Therefore, we had an increase in surveys, evaluations, monitorings, local and national. And researchers adapted and learned how to work during the war. I remember that some of sociologists even worked in the occupied territories, which generated a lot of discussions in our community about methodology, ethics, responsibilities. So yeah, it's a big part of our life now. And in 2022 specifically, sociology became extremely relevant for government, for business, for international donors, and local communities. We have a lot of polls of displaced people and refugees. We conduct surveys among municipality leaders. It actually became almost a meme. We do it so often that people got tired of it. I regularly receive complaints. Please stop sending your surveys. We're tired from it. So yeah, the work has been quite intensive. And it seems like everyone wants to know something about resilience or distress or expectations during the war. Various sociological teams, they executed surveys for adolescents, for the First Lady Foundation, for instance. As I said, dozens of surveys among local authorities, but also large-scale international projects like ESS, ISSP, and our colleagues just recently informed us that they fundraised for European Values Survey and World Values Survey to be conducted in Ukraine soon. And not to mention, online social media and disinformation has become a huge topic of studies in Ukraine. Um, and there is another sensitive topic that Ukrainian sociologists joined efforts with legal scholars and journalists to document war crimes. So we're doing this as well. Um, in my own university, at Kyiv School of Economics, we launched uh, two centers for sociological research. One is focused on academia, and another is focused on policy. And university, not only this university, but many other universities in Ukraine, they have become humanitarian hubs, but also they maintained education and research during the war. Bachelor, master's, PhD programs all around Ukraine were adopted almost overnight to wartime realities. A lot of lectures moved online. Exams were held during air raids, and classes often continued from basements and bomb shelters. So yeah, there are a lot of challenges, but research and education is very intensive in Ukraine.
Mhm. Paradoxically, even amid the horrors and destruction of the war, sociology became faster, significantly more adaptive, and fundamentally more civic minded. In a way, it revived a 19th century ideal, sociology that stands with society.
Oh, absolutely. Ukrainian society has changed We have much more veterans right now. So our field, sociology, has changed as well. One of the most recent studies we conducted was research on veterans and labor market. There is a huge demand for this, and sociology responds to this demand. So it's not a sociology just from textbooks. It is the sociology by the sociology which the society is needed.
And a final example I will add. The fifth Congress of the Sociological Association of Ukraine, which was held this November under the theme Sociology and Society in an Exponential World, Research Challenges, Opportunities, and Prospects. The Congress took place mostly online and was hosted by Karazin National University in Kharkiv. Despite year raids and repeated blackouts because of Russian attacks, it brought together 525 participants. We held two plenary sessions with addresses from the presidents of the international, European, and Ukrainian sociological associations, as well as contributions from distinguished Ukrainian and international scholars too. There were 4 roundtables and discussion panel and 31 thematic sections on topics such as the phenomenon of Ukrainian resilience, war framing, living and trust in wartime, shifts in social structures, social inequalities, civic activism, wartime methodology, studies of occupied territory, etc., and many others. It was more than a congress. It was a statement of intellectual courage and continuity. All of this shows that Ukrainian sociology today is not only a discipline, it is part of the country's resilience, a mirror for society, and a voice of democratic endurance.
Thank you, Olga, and thank you, Tymofii, for this powerful and insightful conversation, and that you demonstrate that Ukrainian sociology is not merely an academic discipline, but a true sociology in action and a participatory sociology, and that you prove that even under existential threat, knowledge can be created, shared, and defended. And also, I would like to thank our listeners for joining us, and we all hope that you would know a little bit more about Ukrainian sociology with this podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.